Whether you're a veteran STARS member or it's your first day at the RPD, it's time to get into everything that you need to know before you get your hands on Resident Evil Requiem. Leon! Help! I'm JesSICKa Havok, and with the release of Resident Evil Requiem right around the corner, there's a ton of questions swirling about what players need to know going into the newest installment of the Resident Evil franchise. With a back catalog that spans 30+ games, veteran players and new players alike might be feeling a little overwhelmed.
No.
With me being a lifelong Resident Evil fan, allow me to give you a crash course on all of the key points, characters, and lore relevant to the game's upcoming release. So sit back, relax, grab your green herb and ink ribbon, because this is everything you need to know before you play Resident Evil Requiem. First off, before we get into some of the main game titles, I feel it very necessary for us to go all the way back, even before Raccoon City, and go to the who, what, why, when, and where this all started. It all began with Oswald E. Spencer, a British billionaire with a power complex. In addition to being a billionaire, Oswald E. Spencer was also a scientist, and a very brilliant scientist at that. While traveling abroad in Africa, Spencer and his team uncovered a huge, significant discovery. A flower, but not just any flower. This flower held a compound that would later go on to be called the progenitor virus. And Spencer did not want to use this virus for the good of man. Spencer wanted to use this to speed up the evolution of the human race so that he could be the self-proclaimed god over superhuman beings. There was only one problem. He would need more funding to facilitate an experiment like this. So, cue in the American government. He was able to work out a deal that if the government helped fund these experiments, that he would, in turn, make strains of the virus that they could use as BOWs, otherwise known as bioorganic weapons, for the military to use in war. Now with the funding of the US government and under the leadership of Oswald E. Spencer, the Umbrella Corporation would be born. Over the next couple decades, the Umbrella Corporation would go on to mask themselves as a leading pharmaceutical giant. All the while, they were using that to hide the fact that they were doing deranged, f***ed-up experiments on human beings. And now we fast forward to 1998, where on the outskirts of Raccoon City in the Arklay Mountains, there were many reports of missing persons whose bodies would show up later to be cannibalized. Which brings us to the first main title in the series, Resident Evil 1.
Resident Evil.
We pick up in late July of 1998, when Raccoon City Police Department's finest, the STARS Bravo and Alpha team, are dispatched to the Arklay Mountains, where they are to investigate the numerous reports of possible cannibalism. This is where we meet two of the main protagonists of the series, Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield, who are accompanied by the leader of the STARS team, Albert Wesker. More on that guy later. When their investigation turns to chaos, they are forced to survive the night in the hellish maze and monster-filled mansion known as the Spencer Estate. Yeah, that's right, that Spencer. As the team tries to escape the night, they uncover that this mansion is sitting on top of a secret underground facility where the Umbrella Corporation has been experimenting for years with the progenitor virus. This is also where they discover that Albert Wesker is secretly a mole who has orchestrated this entire operation to see how the Umbrella BOWs, bioorganic weapons, would fare against highly trained operatives. This all leads to one final confrontation with Albert Wesker, where he unveils a secret experiment, the T-Virus. With said virus, Wesker and Umbrella have created a monstrous BOW known as the Tyrant, which, by the way, Wesker releases from its containment unit only to be immediately backhanded all the way to the ground, quite possibly death. And a chase ensues, and our protagonists end up on a rooftop, and then the Tyrant busts through the floor, and in typical Resident Evil fashion, Chris Redfield ends the Tyrant with a well-placed rocket launcher. As the team barely escapes via helicopter, they witness the Spencer estate explode into dust, destroying any shred of evidence of the Umbrella Corporation's hellish experiments. Or so they thought. And up next, we are going to talk about Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Taking place a few short months after the events of the Arklay Mountains, Resident Evil 2 introduces a couple of new characters, Claire Redfield and our fan favorite, Leon S. Kennedy. The S stands for sexy. Approximately 2 months after the self-destruction of the Spencer estate, the T-virus has spread all the way through the Arklay Mountains into the human population, thus resulting in the full-on zombie outbreak of Raccoon City. Enter Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield. Leon, being a rookie cop, is running late for his first day of orientation and assignment at the Raccoon City Police Department. Oblivious to the zombie outbreak, Leon would run into Claire Redfield, who is in search of her brother, Chris Redfield, at a zombie-infested gas station. Upon the realization that something has gone horribly wrong, the two accompany each other en route to the city, where they discover that a zombie outbreak has completely taken over. Shortly thereafter, the two are separated and forced to go on their own separate journeys. When Leon arrives inside the RPD, he quickly realizes the station has become a nightmare maze filled with zombies and horrifying BOWs. Despite being completely unprepared as a rookie, Leon actually steps up. He embraces his duty to protect others and uncover the truth behind the outbreak. As he navigates the police station and underground facility, Leon encounters Ada Wong, who he may or may not be in love with, but that's a story for another time. Ada is a mysterious woman who is secretly searching for the deadly G-virus, which we find out later that she's actually a mercenary who's getting ready to sell this virus to the highest bidder. Anyway, back to Leon S. Kennedy. Throughout his journey, he battles grotesque BOWs like William Birkin, the mutated scientist behind the deadly G-virus. In the end, yada yada yada. Leon blows up a giant mutated crocodile, flames some plant monsters, takes down another super tyrant, aka Mr. X, and finally escapes Raccoon City with Claire Redfield and Sherry Birkin, the surviving daughter of William Birkin. Whoa, 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 rewind. While Leon and Claire were heading their own nightmare, Jill Valentine was also concurrently in the same city dealing with some chaos of her own. But, like Ada Wong, that's a story for another video. But, to quickly summarize though, yada yada yada. Jill was chased by a scary BOW named Nemesis. Jill was saved by a dude named Carlos.
I got you.
Jill explodes Final Form Nemesis in the mouth with the rail cannon and escapes the city around the same time as Leon and Claire as the US government nukes the city into oblivion, once again destroying any shred of evidence of Umbrella's hellish, disgusting experiments. Moving on to Resident Evil Outbreak. Now, this title is nowhere near as popular as the main titles. It's kind of more of a spin-off. However, you might not have played it, but you're in luck, because I have. Outbreak follows the story of Alyssa Ashcroft. By the way, remember that name for later when we talk about Requiem. Alyssa Ashcroft, who is kind of a badass, I have to say. She is an investigative journalist who is sharp, sarcastic, and very driven by the truth. So the thing is, Alyssa was already digging into Umbrella before the T-virus outbreak ever consumed the city. And throughout this outbreak, she pieces together so many clues about Umbrella's experiments and becomes extremely capable of surviving even with no combat experience, hence the badassery. After digging as much as she could up on Umbrella and their dastardly activities, Alyssa, along with Leon, Claire, and Jill, narrowly escaped Raccoon City before it was decimated. After the very conclusion of Outbreak, she is one of the only reporters willing to expose Umbrella for the bioterror incidents that are tied to their name. And now it's time to pack our bags because we are going on a Spanish vacation with our more experienced, returning, beloved character, Leon Sexy Kennedy. By the time Resident Evil 4 rolls around, we fast forward 6 years to 2004, where Leon has graduated from rookie cop to seasoned government agent. Basically, he traded his RPD badge for presidential babysitting duties. Sent to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley, from a cult in rural Spain, he faces off against a different virus this time. A virus known as Las Plagas. Is somewhat of a parasitic virus that is controlled by a hive mind led by none other than Osmond Sadler, having infected villagers, castle dwellers, and enough bioorganic terrors to make even a tyrant need therapy. As Leon pushes through the likes of chainsaw-wielding maniacs and the monstrous El Gigante, he uncovers a bioterror plot using Ashley as a carrier for the parasite to spread its control to the President of the United States. And once again, Leon has a run-in with his possible lover, Ada Wong, before he ultimately defeats the big bad of the story, Osmond Sadler. Leon then removes the parasite from both him and Ashley, and then escapes by jet ski, mind you, thus preventing another global catastrophe. Next up in the main series is the timeline of Resident Evil 5, 6, 7, and 8. Honestly, I don't think their lore is on a need-to-know basis for playing Requiem, but for the hell of it, here's some super quick bullet points. Multiple contained outbreaks across the globe. Oh yeah, and Wesker, he's still alive, and he punches a freaking hole through the chest of super old Umbrella founder Oswald E. Spencer. Then there's this new guy, Ethan Winters. He has a crazy wife, he fights backwood moldy people, he tangos with a big-boobed vampire lady, and once again, helps Chris Redfield save the world. With all of that out of the way, we are now in the present. It is onward to the upcoming 9th installment of the main series, Resident Evil Requiem. Approximately 30 years after the Raccoon City outbreak in Resident Evil 2, this game marks the first return to Raccoon City since the original trilogy of the games. A lot of the details about this game have been kept secret due to its upcoming release, but what we do know is that this marks the return of the now grizzled, 50-plus-year-old Silver Fox, possibly infected but still sexy, Leon S. Kennedy, as well as the debut of a new character who goes by the name of Grace Ashcroft. Remember the name I told you to remember earlier? Alyssa Ashcroft? You know, the reporter who was trying to take down Umbrella? Yeah, that Alyssa Ashcroft, and Grace is her daughter. Grace Ashcroft now works for the FBI and is thrown on the front line to investigate a series of strange deaths at none other than the Wrenwood Hotel, where her mother was killed 8 years prior. And with Resident Evil being known for its big bads, this installment will be no different. As we now know, the new antagonist will be a man by the name of Victor Gideon, and he is ugly. Gideon, a former Umbrella Corporation researcher, has ties to Umbrella's old bioweapons research, specializes in viral studies, and is now implicated in a string of bizarre deaths across the United States. This is where Leon and Grace come in, where they are both investigating the mystery and the truths behind these deaths. Little more of this installment is known at this time and what terror it will absolutely bring. But I do know one thing. If Leon dies, I am going to be pissed. I am so excited for this game, guys. I know you are too. And I hope all the information we went over helps answer any questions as you dive into the upcoming release of Resident Evil Requiem. Make sure you like and subscribe, spread the word. I'm gonna have some new content coming out in the future, so make sure you watch for that. Until then, don't get caught with your Lady Dimitrescu or your Leon S. Kennedy action figures. Ooh. Oh, Leon.